global CTO for Nokia Private Wireless and Campus Edge, and I also managed all the global strategic accounts, which essentially means large multinationals who have deployments across different markets. So I manage that as well, along with being the CTO for Enterprise Campus Edge.
And your focus is primarily on private networks?
So, as part of our enterprise campus edge, we have private wireless and edge along with the devices and applications. So, I think that's where we are focusing on. I think if you look back for the last 3 to 5 years, there were three streams. One was private wireless, other one was cloud and edge, and the third one was generative AI. So, as part of mission critical industrial edge within Nokia, we combine all of that together and created a mission critical industrial edge which has a complete solution. So that's how we are focusing on. That's what the division is focused on. That's what I try to represent within Nokia.
Galaxy's quite familiar with the industrial edge profile. It's something that we've kind of latched onto as a kind of turnkey solution for a lot of different verticals. So Galaxy's a proud Nokia partner. I mean, we went through the rigorous process of kind of onboarding ourselves and going through the training and the certifications to kind of be able to represent your product. And our customers really only have Ericsson or Nokia to kind of select from, given the requirements of Five Eyes and effectively what these networks can do and control when you put them into kind of certain use cases. Specifically on private wirelesses, I think is where we'll focus today. But what advantages do you think that Nokia platform, specifically Industrial Edge, has over your competitors?
Yeah, I think we see different types of competition, right? So we have traditional equipment vendors trying to support private wireless. Either you have some of them are radio vendors, some of them are core vendors. And I think the advantage that we have is that we have a complete solution. We have radio, core, edge, application, entire network management. And I think that becomes much easier for people to deploy. And we are actually leveraging our carrier grade radios, which are really tested and which has gone through rigorous deployment validations. We are able to use it in enterprise, which essentially means that it can take the scalability, all the five nines that you spoke about. It can scale horizontally and vertically for the use cases.
Something that really attracted us to your portfolio. We've deployed your equipment across the Arctic. We're operating in high winds, very low temperature type environments, like the harsh kind of Arctic environments. And we're just seeing near 100% uptime off these radios, which is impressive and I guess in a lot of ways expected too. I would argue too that some of the strengths of your platform is you guys have been successful specifically on sticking with the private wireless side of things on the Nokia Digital Automation Cloud, your NDAC product, which is kind of the hybrid on-prem cloud-based stuff. You've gotten the form factor of that down. Like it's the fact that we can put in like an enterprise grade wireless network in that takes a third of a rack of equipment is incredible. Really been successful in making this equipment palatable for both budget and skill set. I mean, it's just these cores aren't as difficult to put in as they once were.
I think the way we are trying to work through is plug and play, right? Because when you're setting up the environment, you need to make sure that you are not overcomplicating and you are making sure that it serves the purpose, right? And making sure that people can actually look at business outcomes rather than thinking more about network. And I think that's what we are focused on. Can I get connectivity into this particular area? Then they would start looking at additional use cases. Can I get low latency? Can I get high throughput? Can I get zero trust security deployed on these things? So how do I manage all these things? Can I start getting real time analytics on these devices? What can I process on edge and far edge? So all these things are thought through part of our architecture, and it's an incremental, like a building blocks, Lego blocks, that you can incrementally add it, and customers can reap the benefits right away.
Wi-Fi is an incredible technology and should absolutely be used, but there is limitations of Wi-Fi can do. And when you start looking at the larger geographic area, if let's just say a mining site or a hospital or a campus or any sort of deployment, the idea that you can have kind of standalone equipment that belongs to that project and only that project, we're not sharing it with any telco infrastructure. This is really truly owned and operated by the client. That's just kind of a given. And the fact that it's operating fifth generation 5G wireless at ultra low latency, high throughput, we can stand up these wireless networks, but now we can also layer on a push to talk network, push to video network. It seemingly endless, really, and it's all turnkey. It's another kind of big pat on Nokia bat. I talk to a lot of clients who have an investment, but also almost more importantly, they have a comfort in Wi-Fi. There's just a lack of comfort in kind of using some of these networks. The idea that under a single network management system, we can take, to your point, the Wi-Fi infrastructure that they've already made the investment in, that they have a comfort in, and amalgamate that to high throughput, low latency private 5G network.
So I think our goal day in and day out is to make sure that how to make it easy for our customers to deploy the network and maintain it, manage, and incrementally grow.
The 5G standalone platforms are now becoming more affordable, and they know it's something they should look at. But at the same time, just the lack of comfort in using some of these networks. Under a single network management system, we can take, to your point, the Wi-Fi infrastructure, the high throughput, low latency private 5G network. It makes the whole adoption process just that much more palatable, right? It's just easier.
One of the key aspect is how do you deploy a network, and then it's not just the network, it's just the devices and the ecosystem around that, and making sure that certain devices you cannot replace all the devices in day one, so you need to work your way through over a period of time. So I think our goal day in and day out is to make sure that how to make it easy for our customers to deploy the network and maintain it, manage, and incrementally grow. Nokia Network Digital Twin, which essentially gives you real-time network performance of your network, so you do not really have to have a drive test to periodically check it, because in a dynamic environment, especially when you're talking about Arctic Circle, sending people for a drive test is pretty expensive. So the idea is that how do you make sure that the devices that you have deployed, you're able to get real-time diagnostic information and collectively make changes on the fly before users or your customers are able to figure out what the problems were. We are able to solve those problems before they actually surface. So I think those are the innovations that we are trying to bring to the table, which is making sure that we are supporting the customers.
By nature, what these standalone networks will do is they will start to eat up other networks, point-to-point networks at site. All of these kind of existing systems at site are going to start being amalgamated under this private network. And as an IT guy who ultimately it can be quite intimidating to have all of these kind of subsystems operate under a single core, a single network management system. To your point, like that network twin product is helpful in just determining what's working and what's not working. That's another really strong innovation.